basic animation and kind of introduce the modifiers build and noise, but also kind of learn how to do it manually and why it's important to learn modifiers so that we can kind of simplify things and automate stuff. All right, so I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit. Okay, so by default we have two layers. Okay, lines and fills. Okay, so and the name doesn't match necessarily what you're doing. It's just a matter of naming it. Okay, so fills is not exclusive to fills layer. I mean, you can do whatever you want. That's just the default name. So I'm just going to use this as is. One would be our template. So what we want to do is animate the at symbol kind of growing and like as if you're writing it down, right? So if I go, all right, so let's say that's my at kind of drawing right there. And let me make that bigger. All right, so this is my template. I have it on frame 1, so it's not going to go anywhere. If I play this and it plays for 250 frames, you can see it remains in there, okay? Any drawing that you have on the layer on the first frame or any frame and you don't draw after it, it's a hold, meaning it will stay there, it will not go away, okay? I'm going to put a lock on this thing so that because I'm just going to trace it, okay? I'm not going to do anything to that, so it just kind of remains there, right? So I'm going to rename this one. This is my animation 1 because we're going to do another animation after this. All right, so that's my animation 1 layer. And I'm going to add the other layer now. So let's go with that. This is the animation 2. All right, and I don't need this right now, so I'm just going to hide it. Okay, and then I'm going to be on animation 1. So let's kind of trace this one from the beginning. Okay, let me change the length of my animation to 24 frames. We've decided in class that maybe it takes about 12 frames to draw the at symbol. Okay, so here I can zoom, okay, and pan this one. So the reason why we're doing this is you want to make sure you are focused on the frames that kind of matters, okay, 1 to 12. All right, so that's good enough right there. I'm going to change my vertex color to red so it's really obvious that we are tracing this one, okay? And to move from frame to frame, I know we animate in 2s in class, but for this exercise, we're animating in 1s, okay? So, or we can animate in 2s so it's 24, but let's just stick with what we've done in class. All right, so I'm moving my arrow keys right now, and I can change my timeline playhead, okay? Left and right. If you're using a tablet computer and you don't have arrow keys, I mean, you can just simply jump here. So I'm going to go to frame 1. I'm on animation 1 layer, and I'm just kind of dividing my animation. So if you do this, and by the way, we have onion skin turn on. It shows you the before and after with 1 frame only, okay? So you'll see my previous drawing when I move to the next one. All right, so here we go. So we're tracing this. All right, so that's my frame 1, okay? And then I go to frame 2. I grow it. Okay, frame 3. And you can already tell the mistake of this animation now because when we play this back, it ain't gonna look good. All right, but this is kind of like growing that drawing, right? So let's say here, I'm going to start accelerating. Frame 8. Frame 9, because I want like a big stroke on this one. 10. Man, that's not even close. I need my Cintiq Gary. 11. And then 12. All right, so if we hide the template, when we play this animation, right, we did nothing. Okay, Never see the at. But you saw the process though, right? You saw how the animation grew from one frame to the next. So if you did it this way, it's not going to work with that kind of signature animation. All right. So now that we know that didn't work, I'm going to bring back the template. I'm going to hide this layer now, bring back animation 2, which would be the correct one. Okay. So let's do that again. Okay. So I can go back right here. I mean, those previous animation are still showing from the keys from the previous animation here. Okay, so we're just jumping. So it generates a keyframe each time you draw. Okay, so animation 2. Okay, so if we look here, there's a tool here called Additive Drawing. Additive Drawing. So it adds to the previous drawing. Okay. Because if we don't have additive drawing, this is what we have to do, right? So I'm going to go here, frame 1, okay? And then frame 2, I got to go frame 3, frame 4. Does that make sense? Okay? Because that's the only way, look, that's the only way to keep the drawing without it disappearing. You always have to draw from the very beginning. Make sense? Okay? So let's not do that. That's a lot of work. So we have this tool called Additive Drawing. I'm going to turn it on. It looks like a snowflake. Okay? So what this does is when I draw on frame 1, let's say that part right there, okay? When I go to frame 2, it keeps the previous drawing, and when I add just that part, that becomes my frame 2. Okay, let me turn this off just so you could see it. That is frame 1. You see it? It added a new section and it kept the old one. So I'm going to go to frame 3, bring this back with the additive drawing on, right? Without it, we basically will not be able to create that signature. Let me click undo. Go here. All right, let's go frame 4. I'm just going to go really quick on this one. It's frame 5, 6, 7. Exactly what you were doing before, except now you will actually see the animation remains and not animating a dotted line. Okay. Additive drawing, all right? I can turn this off now if I want to. If not, I can also keep it. But what's the animation now? All right, do you see it? So it looks like it was actually a signature, okay? So how can we make this even simpler? Okay, let's start with our modifiers now. Okay, so I'm going to go here, new, don't save. Okay, let's do a, let's leave it at 250 because we can watch it and it stays in there. Okay, so I'm going to go to draw mode. I'm going to go to pen. Okay, I'm going to do the @ symbol. All right, so instead of animating, we're going to cheat. We're going to go to our modifiers, okay? And we're going to add first generate build modifier. The build modifier automatically animates it for you. All right, all right. So all that hard work. Okay, so again, we're using a 2D computer animation program. You have to take advantage of what it offers. Okay, so for your homework where you have to build your studio logo, so you're designing it as if it's static, and then we can make it animated and look like this. Okay, not only can we make it look like this, where it's animated, we can also make it like it's hand-drawn, like it's not too perfect. So after you add your build modifier, we're going to add the noise modifier. And that's on deform. Okay. So noise has a position value depending on the shakiness. Watch this. Remember how steady and smooth that animation was? So you see that kind of shakiness? Like as if I drew it one section at a time, right? That might be a little too strong on the shakiness. So I'm going to lower my position. So let's say 0.15. I don't know what that does, but 0.15 is a lot lower than 50. So let's watch it. All right, there you go. So there's that slight imperfection. You see it? Okay. So it kind of gives a hand-drawn look without it being hand-drawn. So part of your homework is to incorporate the build and the noise modifier, okay? But however, with the build modifier, we have several modes, okay? Where sequential, meaning it starts from the beginning and goes to the end. So you want to draw first what you want to be built first. So let's say you have, North Lake Animation Studios, and you want that in that sequence. You would draw North Lake first, then animation, then studios. Then that will be the order. Okay? So that is the build and the noise modifier. It doesn't work quite well when you do fill brush because it will also build the fill brush, and you're not going to be happy the way it builds it, the way you fill it, because remember when we did Homer, you did the fill brush, it looks so weird until you complete the fill, right? It's like all over the place until you close it. So it will do the exact same method. So this works great if you want to do your filling and shading using, let's say, cross-hatching. Okay? Let me suspend this temporarily. So if you want to do, let's say, your shading kind of like that, your typical crosshatch, okay, those will all be incorporated in there. So once I turn this on, those will all be animated at the end. So, all right, everything is animated. Okay, so if you want more of a kind of pencil look and whatnot, okay, so that's what that is. So that's our build and noise modifier. So I'm going to end it here.